When I went to Nelson Mandela's 88th birthday party recently in South Africa, I was supposed to show up at this hospital event with him, and he sent me over this shirt to wear that had his prison number on it, 46664. So I showed up with Mandela's prison shirt. He's a lot better performer than I'll ever be. He knew that was a good thing to do. But it reminded me of something he said, and I want to read it to you. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. That's what this CGI deal is all about. That's why you're here. That's what we're trying to do. Madiba spent a third of his life behind steel bars. Today, 3 billion people are trapped behind the bars of poverty, lack of health care, war, terror, environmental devastation, and the imminent specter of global warming. To live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others requires that we break through those bars and cast off each other's chains. Bishop Tutu reminded us that sort of the essential wisdom of Africa about the human condition is captured in the word Ubuntu. He didn't give you the literal translation because it is almost mystical. The literal translation of Ubuntu in English is, I am because you are. Now, when we finished sequencing the human genome, we discovered the astonishing fact that genetically every breathing human being on the planet is more than 99.9% the same. The further astonishing fact that if you took clustered pure ethnic groups, we have the president of Iceland and the first lady here. If you took, let's say, 100 Icelanders who had never lived anywhere else, they were 100% Icelanders back as far as we could trace, and you put them with 100 Bolivian Indians who had always had intermarriage, and you took any tribe in Africa and you put them together, and you found some Sikhs in the north of India who had always intermarried. There was no ethnic differences as far as we knew. You put all these groups together, the genetic differences within each group among the individuals would be greater than the differences in the genetic profile of the groups from one another. Now that's stunning, right? Now think about this, every one of us. It's easy for us to point the finger and say we wish the Venezuelan president wouldn't say hateful things. We hope the Iranian president will moderate. How we wish the Israelis and the Hamas would negotiate. You think about how much of your life, your own life, is organized around that 1/10%. You had better grades than somebody else. You're better looking than somebody else. We're arrogant enough to think that those of us that have a lot of money are so much better than that poor girl that's going up into that village in Lesotho trying to get people to get tested for AIDS. Now you think about it. All of us, we organize more than 90% of our lives, our thoughts, our energies, our self-image. We all do it around that 1/10%. Even the most liberal, social-minded, giving, unselfish, we always think about, what is it? Barbara got the voice of a generation out of 1/10% of her genetic pool. All of us do that. We have lived our whole lives that way. So we come here for a couple of days to remember Ubuntu. If we were alone on this planet, alone, and we were the most beautiful, the most brilliant, the most powerful, the most wealthy, and the longest lived ever person ever to exist, if we were alone, we would not amount to a hill of beans, and if we did, nobody would know it. So Ubuntu, for us it means the world is too small, our wisdom too limited, our time here too short, to waste any more of it in winning fleeting victories at other people's expense. We have to now find a way to triumph together. And so you have here. Thank you.